Hey guys, hadn't talked to you in a while. Figured I'd just give you a little video update. Joblessness and isolation isn't really good for your demeanor, but anyway, it has given me a lot of time to be in the lab and do stuff in here. So we'll see what's going on. Got the CR-10 right here. Made some pretty big changes to it. There's not a lot of the original CR-10 left, but anyway, sorry about the handheld, but I'll try to do this in a non-nauseating fashion. The main thing I've been working on is getting it so that the X and extruder stuff all goes through this drag chain right here. This drag chain actually is meant, to go in this orientation. Need some kind of brace to hold it up like that. I haven't done that part yet. Right now, just getting the wiring and everything rebuilt with the new base. So the base is 80/20. It's not V-slot. You can, if I could point the camera right, you can see the end of it there. It's a profile, just isn't meant for little wheels to run on it. The ends of the pieces I got were actually anodized. That's why the end of that one is black, is because it's anodized, as opposed to this one that I cut over here that is whatever. I'll make end caps for that eventually. But the point of this was so that I could mill a slot in the back of this, as well as the countersinks. I got a lot of light coming into the camera, so I don't know if it's going to look good, but I've got bought a countersink to use in the mill to make these countersinks similar to what the factory countersink was like, and I used the mill to make this slot. And what's nice about that is now out of the back of the printer you can see the indication lights, and you can get, not that you need to take the card out of it much, but you can take the card out, and plug in the stuff USB or whatever, like right there in the back, which is something that was kind of lacking with this printer before. Put the little power inlet with the switch, and I milled that. I milled a hole right for it to fit right into the extrusion, which is really nice. So that was so that's why the base was rebuilt, so that the Duet could fit down in there. Then it's got the solid state relay, and of course the little 24 volt power supply, which conveniently mounts right to the rail. There's nothing holding it up. It's just screwed right to the side of the rail. So I'm pretty happy with that. The X drag chain is pretty cool. Took care to keep the wires arranged in there so it looks cool. The drag chain is completely full. I'm sure that there's somebody out there that would say you're not supposed to do it like I'm doing it, but it's completely full, but the wires are perfectly arranged in a 3x4 12 wire arrangement. On the Bondtech direct drive system, I had to change the two fans. This fan is quieter than the original. These are 24 volts, so a lot of people will replace their Ender fans. This one is similar to the original fan or whatever, but they went right into the thing and worked fine. Also changed the heater cartridge. But anyway, and I did some little nice touch stuff, like I put the Tech Flex on that part. And what's going on here is this tab fits on a little piece that slides over this that I made. I'll show you one in a second, but there's a little piece that just slips over this part of the Bondtech deal, and then this tab was a part of it, so it sat right there and held the drag chain, but it broke while I was messing with assembling it. No biggie, I just need to redraw it and make it a little thicker. Over on this side I have a similar problem. This tab hasn't broken off yet, but it's split, so it doesn't hold the screws rigidly, but for right now it does the job, which makes the connection between chain 1 and chain 2. So just did a little test cube on there. This is the first print it's done since I got the print back together. It's doesn't look too good. Probably gonna have to recalibrate and tune the whole thing, because the entire frame got taken apart and the bottom frame entirely replaced. I'll eventually put the sorbothane feet back on it and so forth. But anyway, enough about that. I mean, it works. And once I get all, like, what's going on here is this will eventually have like a perforated plastic cover over it just to keep everything reined in there. But you know, once I've got everything worked out and I'm 100% sure that the wiring is 100%, then I'll shorten all this stuff and drill holes into the extrusions and everything like that and run the wiring really clean. But this literally just got finished with the mechanical reassembly and recommissioning, if you will. So I haven't gotten to that part yet. This is about all that's left of the original one. I had some feet that I put on it, but anyway, it's interesting. You can see here the difference in the V-slot and the 80-20. What you'll find is that the V-slot is got a little bit wider slot. Like, for example, a hammer nut will not fit in the 80-20, whereas it will fit in this. The other thing you can see is here they have the kind of relieved hole for you to tap it. It makes it easier to tap, but there's a less thread, whereas on the V-slot you can see that it's a full solid hole, and you can see there's a lot more beef, a lot more aluminum in that center section. And you know, it's hard to see, but the X-shaped, the arms that go out in the four directions there are thicker on the V-slot than they are on the 80-20, which meant that when I countersunk into the 80-20, I was trying to replicate this, and you'll notice, for one, they don't go all the way down to the face of it, which I tried to do so the bolt would bear on there. And as a result, if you look in mine, you can see two little nicks on each one where the screw where the counter bore just barely nicks the outside. Let's see if I can see it here. I don't know if you can see it in there, but if you can see two little shiny spots right in there, that's where you're just getting the tiny, I mean, just the tiniest bit of penetration when, you know, I went all the way down to the face so that it was bearing on a flat surface. I don't know. I probably should have done it the way they did it. But anyway, so I mean, that's really all that's left of my CR-10. And then, of course, there's just a pile of CR-10 parts that came off in here in my cabinet with everything else that I've got. It's all messy now because there's so much stuff in the cabinet. I usually keep this clean, but I mean, I've got enough to make three different 3D printers in there. And then I have my pile of treasure. I'm like a dragon sitting on coins with this stuff. I don't even like cutting it or using it or spending it in any way, but I love having just tons and tons of 80-20. Most of this is 80-20. The stuff that's wrapped up, though, is V-slot, of which I have some, you know, and then I bought that black stuff when I decided I was going to alter the CR-10. So what this all means, this is a long video, what this all means is that I really need to go find a job, but during the time that I'm not doing that, what I'm going to do is take this printer apart. I'm done with it. I'm not going to try to run this platform anymore. And I'm going to take it apart and use its motive parts to make a double wide CR-10. Bill has been suggesting that wouldn't be too hard to modify that design into the 12x24 that I've talked about wanting. And I thought a long time about doing it as a bed chucker. Then I decided I was going to do it as a Core XY. And I've decided I just don't know enough about Core XY to do one from scratch. And it was immeasurably helpful to rebuild this printer from the ground up with the Duet board, which is totally what I'll go with next time. I just know I can do it. With everything I did to that printer, I could have built one from scratch. So soon I'll be really getting serious. I'm back to just making it a bed chucker like this one. Um, and I'll run it as slow as it's got to run to move a bed that size or whatever. But this thing's got beefy motors on it compared to like real big beefy motors compared to what they put on the CR-10 or whatever. So I think it's got some power overhead, and I think I'll be able to really use it for good motive power on a larger printer. So anyway, that's what I got going on. Hope you guys are doing okay, and I hope you enjoyed checking out what I have happening here in the 3D printing lab. So see you guys later.